Hi, I'm Organising. I work in the digital team in Prospect, and I'm here to give you 10 top tips about how to organise a brilliant online meeting. So if you're going to be running a recurring meeting, you can set that up in Zoom, which saves you time because you only have to do your settings once about whether or not you want people to have their video on when they enter or privacy settings. And it also means that you only get one URL that you have to send around to members. So that's easier for them and it's easier for you. Number 2, have a clear agenda. So after you've welcomed everyone into the meeting room, just clearly state the way that it's going to run and let people know when they're going to be able to contribute. This is going to take away their anxiety about feeling that they're not able to speak or if they're too embarrassed to do so. It also helps them to understand the way that you want them to engage, whether that's through the Q&A box, the chat function, or by raising their hand, and then you can unmute them and they can speak. Number 3, keep to time. So online meetings are kind of like IRL in real life meetings in that they tend to overrun, but unfortunately an online sense of focus is probably a lot less than if you're actually in a meeting room. So make sure that at the beginning that you really clearly state how long the meeting is going to run for and keep to that time. If a meeting is going to go over for longer than an hour, then make sure you have a break so people can get up, stretch, get some water, go to the loo, come back refocused and able to kind of engage with the next part of the meeting. Number 4, the joy of the mute button. So when you create a meeting, you can set it so that the participants are automatically on mute. This is a really good idea because it means that if anyone joins late, they're not going to distract everybody with external noise that is really extraneous. It also gives you a bit of control about who can speak when. You can either set it so that if they want to speak, they can unmute themselves and speak, or you can set it so that if they want to speak, they can put their hands up and then you can unmute them and then remute them when they're done with speaking. This might seem like it's a bit harsh, but like everybody knows that people like to hear people's voices and it helps you keep to time. Number 5, share your screen. So you can be as interactive in an online meeting as you can be in an IRL meeting. If you wanted to show a flip chart or a presentation, you can do this by sharing your screen. You do that by pressing the big green button at the bottom and then choosing what it is that you want to show. That could be like a kind of PowerPoint presentation, or if you wanted a kind of interactive situation where you were kind of working on a flip chart, you could either live edit a whiteboard or you can allow your participants to kind of participate by clicking the annotate button and then they can kind of add their thoughts as it goes. Number 6, record it for posterity. So sometimes members can't attend meetings, and in a real life situation that can mean that they're going to miss out, but when you're online you can record it as a video and then they can kind of feel like they were there. So in the settings of a meeting, when you set it up, you can choose to do that automatically, or if you choose not to do that, then individuals can also kind of record their screen. In either eventuality, it's really good to let everybody know that they're being recorded, just so that people are understanding of where their data and their conversation's going. Number 7, watch your background. So it's not only you that are being seen, it's also the things around you. And so you might want to think about the way that you're presenting. If you're up against a plain wall, if you're up against a messy bedroom, do you want people to see that? If you really aren't comfortable with where you're sat or your space, or you're not comfortable with people kind of seeing into that, then you can create a virtual background. And Zoom has like so many fun ones, like from beaches to sports stadiums. I mean, you can basically decide where you want to be. You could be on the moon. So have a think about that. Number 8, what's in a name? So you can edit your name when you come into a meeting, and so it's important to kind of remind members and yourself that the way that you kind of tag yourself when you're in personal meetings or meetings with your family may not be the way that you want your colleagues or members to see you. So just always remember that the last name that you edited for yourself, whether that was in a hilarious like family quiz or whatever, is going to be how people see you in your meeting. It's also like quite a nice idea if you want to try and introduce people to new members, so that new members can understand who everybody is. So what you can also do along with your name is to put your branch position or just title to try and help people to kind of get some understanding of who everybody in the room is. Number 9, be secure. So I know there's a lot of anxiety around Zoom in some organizations, and you can get onto it without downloading the app by accessing it through the Chrome web browser. You can also access it off your personal phone, and actually it's really, really great. We've had people presenting on webinars before using that, and the quality is really superb. So if that's the only way you can do it, that's totally fine. Also, always maybe set a password so that only the people that you want to be in the room are in the room. And then if you know that everyone's attended who you want to attend, then you can lock the room afterwards. If you're doing a wider public meeting, trying to outreach to non-members, don't use a personal ID URL. Use a unique meeting ID, which you can create through Zoom really simply, and then that will stop you from being hacked possibly by people who can overtake your meeting, which is sometimes known as Zoom bombing, and means that you've got complete security over whatever it is that you might want to be talking about in the room. Number 10, last but not least, we're back to mute, and it's because although it's ironic that this is an interpersonal space where you're trying to talk to people, the most important rule about online meetings is to mute if you're not speaking. Zoom and all other online platforms focus in on people who are, it goes towards the sound, and so if you have any extraneous sound behind you, it will focus on you. That distracts enormously, and as much as you might say it to people, everyone always forgets. I forget all the time, and so the 3 golden rules about Zoom, online meetings, and online meetings generally are: if you're not speaking, mute, mute, mute.